Hello, my name is Tinne from Victoria Designs, and if you've been waiting for a kit that doesn't have a specific theme but does have a specific color palette and is just amazingly beautiful, and if you like purple as a color, I have a new kit for you, the Purple and Gold kit. It's very simple. There's purple, there's gold, there's beauty. What more do you want? And I created a tutorial to make this layered mini folio from scratch. This project is a little bit based on the Layered Folio freebie from a few weeks ago, but there are a lot of differences as well. Of course, you can use a lot of our other kits and paper packs to make this project. And you can use the printables from this kit to make journals and cards and use in scrapbooking, etc. In this video, I'm going to show to you every step from start to finish so you can make this project as well. Yes, dear beginner crafter, you can make this too. The measurements you need will pop up on the screen when you need them, but if you would like a handy dandy PDF with all the measurements, you can opt in via the link in the description to get the download. And for more information about these beautiful printables, you can discover it all in my Etsy shop. The link is below as well. And now let's start crafting. For this project, I printed a few of the papers of the kit that I liked, that I'm going to use. Some I printed twice, and this one even I printed a little bit smaller because I want to use these as side pockets, and you can experiment with the sizes of your print percentages, etc. for yourself. I chose 6 of the sheets with the small journal pages, and I printed 3 of them at 92% on the front, and then on the back I printed the 3 others at 93%. That means on the back they are a little bit larger, which means if I cut them on the front, I won't have any white gaps. Now make sure if you do this to load your printer carefully. And I know there are printers out there that just can't manage to print in the center. I don't know why that is. I am very sorry, and if that's the case, you can better print in neutral paper on the back instead of other journal pages. If you still have white edges, you can easily solve that by adding a little bit of ink. So I just wanted to show you how I printed these, because then I can make little booklets that fit in the center of this project. And even if they are smaller, they are still full of detail, as you can see. And further, for the base, you will need some heavy cardstock. This is craft cardstock that is 300 grams. That's about 110 pound cover. Now, these I found are a great quality. I haven't used these before until now. And these are from this brand, 300 grams. I'm always on the lookout for a bargain, and I also found a packet of craft cardstock, this one. And it's a very big pack. You see, there's a lot in there, and it's 280 grams, and I thought, score! But yeah, when I put them side by side, yes, the color, this is a lot warmer. I like this very much. This is okay too to craft with, it's more grayish. But even though this is only 20 grams lighter than this one, look, if I give it the same force, this is so much more less sturdy than this one. It's amazing. So I'm still happy with these. That was really a bargain, but I am going to use these for tryouts and things, and I'm going to use these for actual tutorials and really good crafts. I just wanted to point out there's a difference, even though the weight is the same-ish. Go for something that's very sturdy. So I'm gonna need a few of those. And these I printed on 160 grams paper, just with an inkjet printer. And these I printed on 80 grams paper, so the normal thin paper, otherwise this is going to be too thick. Okay, now let's turn these in a beautiful craft project. I already cut all my base pieces from the 300 grams cardstock, and all the measurements will appear on the screen. Or you can follow along with the PDF, of course. And the first and biggest piece I'm going to score at 3 3/8 of an inch on both sides. So just flip around, that's easier than finding 6 point blah, blah. Now the second piece, this is going to be our tag base. I'm going to score in the center and also 1/2 inch on 3 sides. These 2 pieces are going to be the inner flaps, and I'm just going to score them on one side, like this, at 1/2 inch. And the last piece is the closure flap, and I'm just going to score that at 1/2 inch, and also 1/8 of an inch further at 5/8 of an inch. So let's start with the big piece, I'm going to fold these folds, and you will see that the middle section is a little bit wider. Now what I'm also going to do is I'm going to round these 4 corners. Totally optional, you don't have to do that. Let's put this aside for a bit. These, we're just going to fold these 2 inner flaps like this, and also I'm going to round the corners. I'm using the biggest corner here, but you can do what you want, a smaller one or no cut corners. Okay, so ready. This one also going to fold both folds, this, and I'm also going to again round these corners, only these 2. And then for the last base piece, I'm just going to cut something off. I'm using some of the folding lines to cut, so I'm going to cut these tabs off here, like this, and then I'm going to cut here at an angle and here as well. See, so straight here and these at an angle. Now we have 2 tabs here. And then I'm also going to fold everything inward. I'm going to finish this later, but first I'm going to add a bit of inking on the edges. Again, this is completely optional. I'm using Vintage Photo Distress Oxide. You can just use ink, you can use nothing. You can use any color that you like. I'm just going to make sure there's a little bit of ink on both sides on the edges to make it a tiny bit darker. If you're using very dark designs instead of the ones that I'm going to use, you can definitely use black cardstock. If you're using very light designs, you can use very light cardstock and match your ink according to your taste, of course. Flaps, same. And the closure as well on both sides. And then for his tag base, I'm going to cut out a little notch right here in the center, only on the front. Again, optional. You can do a lot of stuff with this project. Choose which parts to keep and which to not keep. Okay, I have this notchy thingy like this. Okay, now I'm going to also ink the edges as far as I can. So lightly the folds. I need to do some folds there as well. Let's do these folds as well. I'm going to assemble this tag base now. And I'm just going to use double-sided tape here. I'm using 3/8 of an inch wide tape. That's about 9 millimeter. There. I'm gonna put some on this tab, also on this tab. There. Remove the backings. Then make sure to first put the side tab down and then the bottom tab, because now when you put something in there, it will not catch behind this paper. There. And now we can close it, and even though you know you've measured everything perfect, just keep checking while you're closing that everything is lining up as it should. There. And I have a tag pocket for a tag. Yeah, I call it a tag base. And I'm going to attach this one to this base here. So I'm going to put tape or glue. Of course, you can use glue as well. You don't need to use a tape like I do. But I'm going to add tape here on the back and glue it like this. And normally I say, yeah, put your glue or tape right next to the fold, etc. Now I'm going to leave like an 1/8 of an inch gap here. So I'm putting my tape more towards the edge of the tab instead of towards the actual tag here, because this is very heavy paper. And we need that little bit of wiggle room to make sure everything is working. So I'm removing this tape here. And now you can choose where you're going to attach this, a bit higher in the center, a bit lower. But I'm going to eyeball that it goes about 1/2 inch from the bottom here. That's what I like. But I'm going to put everything upside down now, because then I can see where my tape is ending and make sure that I'm putting down everything as straight as I can. There, see, I have this 1/8 of an inch gap here. And now when I close this, I have a bit of wiggle room to really put this flat, because if I wouldn't have that, it would probably not even close properly. Okay, and now I am going to attach the closure. The closure is the piece that was originally 3.5 by 3.5 inch with the 2 score lines. And I'm going to put my project like this, and this closure will be added right here. So I'm going to put some tape again on the tab here. Remove backing, or just use glue, of course. And I'm going to put this about 1 3/8 of an inch from the bottom, about here. And I'm gonna make sure that my first folding line here will be right next to the folding line of this base here. See, right next or on, like this. See, actually you can put it on. And actually our base is almost ready. I'm going to put some tape on these tabs. Now again, next to the fold. There's room enough. Oops, 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 oops. What am I doing? Look. Luckily there's a thing called glue. Yeah, I'll check on it later. Remove the backing, and then I'm going to put this in the center, because it's a bit smaller than the centerpiece, in the center against the top. Well, I'm going to turn it upside down, because then I can really see it from where I'm standing. And there's an 1/8 of an inch on both sides. So really line up the fold with the top like this, and then glue it down. Same with the bottom one, but upside down. So like this, I'm holding it like this with my fingers, and then I can really see this fold really well. I'm gonna center it, lining up. There you go. And now our whole base is ready. It's gonna go like this. Flaps in, left in, right in, tag holder down, closure down. That's it. Upside down again, and now let's add some ribbons to close this project. I have here 2 ribbons, vibrant purpley ones that really match the kit. They're quite wide, but it still works. So I'm going to add a ribbon here and also one here. And for that, I'm going to find the center of my closure. At least that's what I want. If you want the position a little bit higher or lower, of course, that's super fine. But I'm going to find the center of this closure piece, which is right here. And at the same height, I'm going to put a ribbon, let's see, right here. A bit higher. Yeah, for me that is, yeah, for me here that is 3¼ inch from this bottom. And I'm simply going to attach them with some double-sided tape. Since it's such a wide ribbon, I'm going to use 2 of my strips here. I have wider tape somewhere, but it's somewhere. Going to remove this. And I'm simply going to put this down. About 2 inches, doesn't really matter. And here as well, but that way. Like this. And now that we have attached our ribbons here, we can just make everything pretty now. I already cut all the panels that are going to make this base very beautiful. The measurements will pop up on the screen again, and of course you can follow along with the PDF if you want. I'm also going to add some ink to these edges, but this time not a very dark one. I'm going to use this antique linen ink that will work well with the beige and gold colors in this kit. And I'm going to start with the panels of the outside. Since I rounded these corners, I rounded these corners here as well, so it fits. And I'm just going to ink these edges, and you can see a little bit of a beige edge is there now. This one I already did, and the center one. This is actually a pretty quick project. Once you've chosen your papers and which part of the papers, the longest part is actually choosing which part of the papers you're gonna put where. So the deciding process, but the actual crafting process is not that long. There. And I'm simply going to use glue stick. You can use wet glue, you can use double-sided tape. This is just faster for a tutorial. If you really want this craft to last forever, it's best to use a good wet glue like tacky glue or Fabri-Tac. There. And the next panels I'm going to attach are the front and the back of this closure piece. And I have these 2 pieces that I'm also going to ink first. Okay, next I'm going to put an image here and here. So I'm going to find the center first. And cut out a notch. I already inked the rest, so I'm just going to put some ink here. And now I just need to put these in place. Okay, let's turn around. And I'm going to now put some panels here, here, and here. Now here are going to come some side pockets which means I don't have to really fill this whole space with panels. So these are a little bit shorter. I have these 3 for here. I'm going to, make sure it's not upside down. There. I'm gonna make sure every time I put on a panel that I have equal space all around. Like this, so nicely in the center. This one right here against that part, because you won't see what's under there. And I put this piece on the other side right here, like this. Now I'm first going to put some tape over this edge so that nothing can catch in here. So you can use washi tape. I'm just going to use regular tape here, like this. Now about these pockets, I like the size of this horizontal paper. And I printed this paper a little bit smaller. And I could see on the printer settings that the paper would also be about 7.5 inch high, the whole height of this project. So what I need to do now is round these corners, and I'm also going to add a notch here. So now they fit completely on here, and I'm just going to put some double-sided tape, but smaller one, on the sides and on the bottom here. And I have this 1/4 inch 6mm wide tape. And of course, with these rounded corners, it's a bit harder to actually put the tape here, I know. Put the tape against the edge. And then, with this spatula, I can just cut this tape at an angle. Now, this tape has an angle, and I can put it right here in this rounded corner. With glue, of course, you can just put a tiny bead of glue right against the edge with a glue that has a very fine tip, for example, like this. Okay, and then it's time to put these in. Line up these rounded corners and the top and the bottom so that everything matches perfectly, like this. And the other side as well. There you go. And now we have 2 side pockets to put something in there. And now we're almost there. I'm going to now put the panels on the outside of these flaps. And I chose these ones. And now for the closure of these flaps, I'm going to use these very large brads here. Usually I also add a circle underneath for a closure circle, but the heads of these brads are actually large enough, and I'm going to use them like this. These are the brads that you can find in your local stationery store. That's why they are so large. Usually that's not handy, but in this case it doesn't really matter. Okay, I'm going to add them in the center here, about 1/2 inch from the edge here. About here. Yeah, that's good. And then the same height here. Like this. I'm gonna punch a hole here. Yeah, usually an awl will work, but since these legs are so wide, I really need a bigger hole. But of course, if you have tiny brads, you can use those as well. and use some circles underneath like I usually do. And I'm going to use this piece of chipboard here with a gap so that I will have a gap for my twine underneath. Then put it through the hole. Yeah. And I'm gonna spread these out. Add a piece of double-sided tape on top, like this. And I can just slide this out. Yeah, it's sure this is straight, like this. Of course, don't make this too thick because it's already going to be quite bulky up here. But I think this is still going to work. Same with the other one. And then so, and now I can glue the panels on the inside here. I have these panels ready for that. Nicely in the center again. Yes, it's gonna be a bit bulky where these brads are, but just glue around them. Use your fingers to form the paper around these legs, like this. There's a little bit more attention on the top here until it's dry. There. I have a piece of purple embroidery thread here. I'm just going to wrap this around the top one, a double knot or a triple one if you like. There. I'm gonna cut off the excess here. And now when I close it, 1, 2, 3, I'm gonna leave a little bit of a tail. And I'm going to cut some of these diamond thingies from a leftover piece of printed paper. I used a 5/8 of an inch circle punch for this. You can go larger with another shape, etc. But I'm going to use it as a little bit of a decoration for that embroidery thread here. I'm going to put a little bit of glue here. Whoops. Now it's on my table. Then I'm going to, let's unwrap this, put my thread on here. Yes, I'm holding it like this to see where the thread actually goes. A little bit of glue on this one. Ooh, that's a lot. That's too much. Okay, let's get off a bit of that glue because that's just ridiculous. That's more than enough. It's still even too much. Yeah, and now I'm going to put the other circle on the other side of the thread, and now we have this little dangly thingy. So let's put it the right side up again, and now you can close it like this. And now the tag to put in here, well, actually it's more of a card. I have this piece here and I'm gonna fold it in half. You can keep it like this so you can write something in there. You can also glue it completely close so you have a sturdy card here. What I'm going to do is put some thin tape here and here to create like an extra secret pocket. So just on the edge, a bit of tape on the top and on the bottom on 1/2. There. And I have this die cut tab here that I'm going to put on the top. There. There's glue all over and way too much again. Sorry about that. And then I'm going to line up the tops of the bottom part here with the top of the tag here, and then close it. And then if you want, you can also add an eyelet here with this piece of string or anything. I'm just going to keep it like this, and this fits perfectly in here. And now, as I said, I have these little tiny journal pages, print on both sides just the way that I explained in the beginning of the tutorial. I have 3 here, and I'm gonna use these 3 here like this, fold them in half, this, and you can stitch these. You can use a 3-hole pamphlet stitch here. What I usually do with such small booklets is add 1 staple here. I will put a link below to that part of another tutorial to explain how I did that. But see, now these little journals, they fit perfectly in here. Now we can close it. Because of these brads, it's actually kind of bulky, but it's going to work. Like this, like this, like this, like this. And now I can close this little folio with a really lovely bow. Like that. And it is bulky, but that feels, bulky feels good. It feels like, oh wow, there's a lot of going on here. See? I really love this. There. Lovely gift for someone, quickly made. As I said, the most time-consuming part is to decide which part of which papers you will put where in this little project. And in the side pockets you can put a little note or some of the embellishments. Oh yes, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of glossy accents here on that jewel in the center on the front. Like this, and I'm gonna let that dry. So I let the glossy accents dry overnight, and I need to touch up a few of these parts here, but otherwise it looks really, really good. Okay, so this was the tutorial. While I'm closing this, let me thank you for watching this video. I really hope you liked it. And if you have friends that might like to watch this tutorial as well, please share this video link with them. And don't forget, if you want a PDF with the measurements nicely in a row, you can opt in via the link in the description. How beautiful is that? I am so happy with this. I hope you're happy too, and I wish you a very beautiful crafty day. Bye bye.